It's totally not rum and coke in this. So as a belated birthday present to myself, I went out with all of my friends to see Rampage, and my best friend bought me rum. As such, hilarity ensued. Drink responsibly, kids. So The Rock is in another ridiculous film this year, but this time instead of fast cars or natural disasters, he's fighting giant land and sea mammals. But because he's The Rock. This is going to be a very inebriated review, by the way, so I hope everybody is prepared for that. So let's get into it! Rampage is based on an older video game from back in the day, mid-90s kind of era, which was a side-scroller all about you playing a giant animal of some kind that's been genetically modified. And the basic aim of the game is to completely wreck shop, and they've somehow managed to adapt that into a film. But the difference is that this time it's actually one of the better video game films that have actually come about. And I reckon that that is in no small part down to the fact that The Rock is in it. So the basic summation of this is that if you're going to adapt a video game into a film, put The Rock in it because it will probably do better. So there, we've learned something now. The basic premise is that there is a shady scientific corporation that has by no means any backstory or reason to be doing what they're doing other than with the crawl at the beginning. Something goes awry on their satellite in space where they're experimenting, their genetic editing material falls back to Earth, where it infects 3 different animals, one of which is a giant albino gorilla named George, who The Rock has taken in when he was small, taught sign language, and is basically his best mate because apparently he just doesn't get along with people anymore, and so relates to apes and animals. Read into that what you will, but I won't have a bad word said about The Rock. And as such, these infected animals go on a rampage and start destroying stuff. And it's up to him to figure out a way to stop them with a doctor who was part of creating the genetic editing material that has infected them and thinks she may know a cure to it or something. Okay, so I'm gonna boil this down. Some good points about the film. 1, the graphics were pretty cool. The monsters looked pretty cool. There was a reasonable amount of destruction without it being absolutely ridiculous for collateral damage. And The Rock is The Rock. The good thing about The Rock is that he is, without a doubt, usually the best part of any film that he is in. So what I think is a good thing about Rampage is that it's, in a way, it's the right amount of ridiculousness. It's not quite the ridiculousness of Pacific Rim, but it's also not the same amount of ridiculousness as a really, really terrible film. It sits kind of comfortably somewhere in the middle, where it's an acceptable amount of ridiculousness. Now, some bad things about the film. It is completely unacceptable in any action sequence if you have a grenade launcher to just chuck it away when you have a belt full of refills, even if you use that belt full of refills to chuck against something to destroy it later on. The grenade launcher will always throw them further, so what's the point? How that one guy got to be ahead of a corporation with his sister when he basically looks and acts like an idiot 12-year-old was the most unrealistic thing of the film for me. And this had a genetically modified crocodile in it. Things that The Rock can apparently withstand. 1, a gunshot. 2, a helicopter crash. 3, a plane crash. 4, a building falling down. Now, it's at this point that I begin to question, are the animals genetically modified? Or is it The Rock? Maybe The Rock is the DLC for the Rampage game. That's a thought. So my thoughts on Rampage are essentially that yes, it is a fun watch. Yes, I was incredibly inebriated while I was watching it. That probably added to the hilarity of it. And the fact that Jeffrey Dean Morgan is in it. It really perked the film up for me. And also the fact that Joe Mangan, him. The fact that he makes an appearance in it as well is also pretty good. So with that in mind, Rampage gets 3 stars from me. It's a dirty entertainment film, but I've got to admit, out of all of the video game films that have been released recently or are due to be released, it's probably up there among the best. I would definitely say that it's alongside the Mortal Kombat film. So Rampage, have you seen it? What did you think about it? What was the best part of the film for you? Would you see another Rampage film? And do you think that this is the best video game adaptation, or are there better ones still to come? All comments are welcome in the comment section below. Let's talk nerdy. As always, if you've enjoyed what you've seen here and you want to see more, you can click right here to see some more funky fresh videos from yours truly, and don't forget to subscribe while you're at it. And until that point, get yourself a rum and coke to watch this film with. I guarantee it makes it better. Oh, that's good. So So Rampage, what? Fucking Mortal Kombat.